Alright, what is up YouTube? So today I'm going to be showcasing my Dragon Link deck post ban list. We had Link Cross banned, we had the Dragon Buster banned, so you might think that something like Dragon Link is just not really touched, but if you look at the end boards that Dragon Link makes, minus like Dragon Buster and Link Cross, their board kind of sucks. You're ending on Savage, maybe Seal, and then maybe even a Herald Pass. Like that's not really gonna cut it when it comes to all of these going second cards being good again, because we don't have something like Smoke Grenade to hit it out of your hand. So you have stuff like Dark Ruler you have to worry about. You have to worry about something like Talents, Droplets. Like all of these going second cards are just way too powerful now. So now you kind of have to have some insurance, and I think that insurance is going to be Prologue. Prologue is such a powerful card on top of the standard Dragon Link board. So I'm going to be showcasing the combo, and then I'll kind of talk about in depth when I get into the deck profile. But we're just going to showcase the combo, like pretty standard. So what you're going to do is start off with your Buster Whelp. You're going to add your Prologue. So now you have insurance for next turn. That is the big key about Prologues in this deck, and having 9 copies with the Buster Whelp, the Prologue, and then you have Trap Trick. So now on top of your combo, you have Prologue to kind of get to your Buster lock. So now you're going to link into Striker Dragon. You're going to Chain Block with the Noctovision, and then you're going to add the Boot Sector Launch. Boot Sector Launch, obviously really good to get your rockets out of your hand and on the board. So now you're going to link into your Romulus. Romulus is going to get Dragon Ravine. I know a lot of people don't like Dragon Ravine, but I feel like Dragon Ravine is way better right now, because you not only get to discard bricks like, memories that you want in the graveyard, you can discard the Buster Blader, you can get that in the graveyard, and other dragon cards in the graveyard, but also getting to that Rocket Trace is just really good. Also, since we don't have Link Cross, like the whole, Lance into the Phalanx is not really that good anymore. Like you just don't really care. So getting to Ravine is just way better in this build. So now you get to draw a card with the Noctovision, which you're gonna draw into Tracer, which is pretty good, which makes like Ravine kind of dead, but it's still a discard for something you'll see later. So now we have the Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, obviously. That's really good to go into your ELPY combo. So you're going to go into ELPY. ELPY is going to resolve after you do the Wyvern Burster, or yeah, special summon that. And then you're going to go into your Striker Dragon. And then you're going to use ELPY effect is going to get into your Brotar. So now you're going to get your Chaos Dragon Legionnaire, which is pretty good. Also having Safer in the graveyard is really good, so you can add back that Legionnaire for more grind games. So now you're going to link off your Romulus and your Striker Dragon, because you don't have a Rocket in the graveyard. You're going to go into your Seal, and now you're going to link off your Brotar into Pisty, and then Pisty's just going to get a body on board, which is pretty nice. And then you're going to link that off into the Dylan Dragon. It doesn't really matter. It's just really good because it's a generic dragon you can go into to kind of get these Pisties and LPs off your board. And then you're going to summon your Chaos Dragon Legionnaire. That's going to loop a card out of your opponent's hand. And then you're going to link into everybody's favorite link to, and that is going to be Dragoon. This is really good for the fact that Dragoon is just like an auto win against control decks. It is also a really strong negate, which is also really good. And then it gets like dead cards out of your hands as well. So that is pretty good. So now I'm going to Boot Sector Launch, and I'm going to special summon both of the Rockets. But because I drew the Rockets, like both of the Rockets, I'm just going to synchro off. There's no reason to kind of pop the Boot Sector Launch because it's really good in the grind game as well. So there's no point in actually using it. And I'm just going to synchro into Savage Dragon, which is going to be another negate. So now I have not only Seal, not only Dragoon, but I now have Savage Dragon and the Legionnaire discard on top of that. And then you're going to go into Dragoon, obviously. So now your board is pretty strong. You have Dragoon, you have Savage, you have Seal, you have the Legionnaire, so they're now playing with 5 cards. And then you have insurance with the Prologue for next turn. If they do break your board, and then you can kind of, lock them out of, using any monster effects, and all of their monsters go to defense, so they can't really OTK you. And you just have so much in the graveyard you can work with. You have like the Charger, you can obviously go into the Striker Dragon as well. You have something like Safeheart to get the Legionnaire back in the grave, or back in your hand. So, and you have something like Launch that is also really good. Then you have the Seal that floats. Like, this whole board is just so crazy. Like, Dragon Link is still very strong, and I feel like this is the end board that you want to be focusing on in the newer format. So let's get on to the deck profile. So the deck profile is pretty standard. You're basically playing Dragon Link, but it's really different. You're not playing all the extra Halka-Fibrax stuff. You're just playing standard Rockets with all of the extenders, with Noctovision, Quick Launch. You have the Guard Dragon World Legacy card. You have Monster Reborn, all of these other extenders, and then you have the kind of Buster Blader engine to kind of have insurance when comboing off. So if you do get disruption, you can just go like Verte into Dragoon and just set Prologue, and then you have like a negate plus a lock. So that's really good about this deck, is that you don't just like focus on Prologue too heavy, because I feel like that's really bad for the control variant, and that's why I didn't want to really focus on the control build, is because you focus way too much on Prologue, and if Prologue gets stopped, like, people can play around like 2 trap cards, like, it's not really that good. So having these negates on top of the Prologue is what makes Prologue good. It's just like Apollousa. Like, Apollousa itself is not good, but if you have Apollousa plus Dweller plus Savage plus Herald plus this plus that, then that one card is like very strong. So that is kind of the theory on this deck and why it's so good. Don't really look at the side deck. This is kind of like theory on what will be good. It's kind of like Ash for Dinos for Virtual Worlds. You have Lancia for Dinos and Virtual Worlds, because I believe those decks are just very strong in the format. And then Gamma's just like a very powerful card in general. Then your standard back row hate you have in the deck. And then like the extra deck is pretty standard. I mean, 3 Tracer, Verte for your Dragoon. You have Phoenix, which is just really good for something like Tikaboo or anything. Just getting rid of back row is just really generically good. Then you have Seal, Pisty, ELPY, Romulus for the combo, Dillingerous, obviously, to get rid of the ELPY and the Guard Dragons. And then you have Borosword to OTK, and then the Buster Lock, which is pretty strong, Dragoon, as I said, as well, and then Savage. So overall, I think this is how Dragon Link will end up being, is that like the deck is going to still combo off to bait out all the hand traps, and then have negates on top of Prologue to kind of shut down your opponent. Because I feel like playing this unfair engine is what makes these decks good. It's not really the combos. It's not really, the grind game of these decks. Like, having these unfair cards like Zoos, like the grindiness of, Eldritch, you have all of these different like Virtual Worlds of VFD. Like, you need unfair cards to kind of give you the edge in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I feel like Prologue is what's going to replace the Dragon Buster Lock or the Smoke Grenade that Dragon Link players were playing before. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful for you if you was thinking about building Dragon Link post Banlist. I know a lot of people are just looking for a build to kind of look at that's like pretty decent, and I feel like this deck is like pretty decent. Like, how can this be bad? You have Dragoon, you have all of these different cards, you can still combo off. We still have ELPY. Like, there's still so much with Dragon Link, and there's so much to explore that this deck is just not dead in the slightest, and it's still like a top tier contender. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I am out. Make sure you like and comment, subscribe, whatever.